Hello everyone, welcome back to the Analyst by Vajiram and Ravi, dated 26th September 2024. Today again, we will be discussing some important topics that has appeared in today's The Hindu and The Indian Express newspapers, which are very relevant for your exam. In our first topic, we'll look into various aspects of basic structure of the Constitution, particularly in context of recent debates surrounding One Nation, One Election, that implementation of One Nation, One Election might infringe the basic structure of the Constitution. Then in our second topic, we'll look into various challenges pertaining to cybersecurity in India. Then in our simplified section, we will take up 7 articles and we will try to explain them in simplest language possible to enrich the understanding of your newspapers. So stay tuned. So our first topic is basic structure of the Constitution. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 2 Indian Constitution, historical underpinnings, evolution, features, amendments to the Constitution, significant provisions of the Constitution as well as the basic structure of the Constitution. The context of this topic is that a lead editorial which have highlighted various aspects of One Nation, One Election as well as the basic structure of the Constitution. As you would be knowing that there was a committee that was set up under former President Shri Ram Nath Kovind ji to look into various aspects of One Nation, One Election. And the committee submitted its report to the central government, and recently the implementation of One Nation, One Election has been cleared by the central cabinet. Now there are some critics of One Nation, One Election who are saying that the implementation of One Nation, One Election might infringe the federalism in India. And since federalism is an important part of our basic structure of the Constitution, implementation of this will also infringe the basic structure of the Constitution. This is also violative of the basic structure of the Constitution as said by the critics of One Nation, One Election. So since this One Nation, One Election has been widely covered previously, we will not be digging much deeper into One Nation, One Election, but let's briefly look into that what has been covered in the editorial. So in this editorial, as you would be knowing that One Nation, One Election mainly calls for holding simultaneous elections for Lok Sabha as well as the state assemblies. So the editorial says that there are some people who have taken a view that it will benefit the citizens at large. However, there are some people who says that it might be violative of the basic structure of the Constitution. If we talk about various benefits that has been highlighted by the editorial, it says that first and foremost, it will save the time of the people as they will have to visit the polling station only once. And this might increase the voting percentage also, where people are little apprehensive to go for casting their votes, to take leaves from their jobs when there are frequent elections. So the first benefit that has been highlighted by some experts is that it might increase the voting percentage. Second, it will also reduce the logistics burden on the authorities that are conducting the elections, for example, Election Commission of India, etc. Also, the third and important benefit that have highlighted is that when the opposition's favorite political argument is that elections in India don't have a level playing field, simultaneous election would benefit these political parties by ensuring that their campaign expense remain unlimited. Since some of the small parties as well as opposition parties have highlighted that since they have limited funds, so whenever there are frequent elections, they cannot campaign properly. So if there will be One Nation, One Election, simultaneous elections will be there, it will reduce the money that is required for campaigning and it will benefit the opposition parties, small parties at large. Also, the fourth important benefit that has been highlighted that it will address the issues that has been created due to frequent imposition of the model code of conduct. Various roadblocks that we witness in the governance structure, in the implementation of various schemes due to the imposition of the model code of conduct, those issues will be addressed widely. Now coming to our discussion towards basic structure. So what is basic structure is all about? Basic structure is the evolution of the judiciary. There is no as such word mentioned in our Constitution. Also, there is no statutory backing of the basic structure of the Constitution. It has evolved through various Supreme Court case laws. Basically, basic structure means those part of our Constitution which cannot be altered or changed if they are altered through any constitutional amendment or by any law of the parliament, they will be null and void, they will be unconstitutional as they are violating the basic structure of the constitution. So how we have got this basic structure? Let's try to trace the evolution of this basic structure of the constitution. After our independence in year 1951, there was a case named Sankri Prasad versus Union of India case, and mainly it was looking into that whether parliament have this ability, parliament have this jurisdiction to amend the constitution including the fundamental rights or not. In this case, the parliament's power of the amending the constitution under article 368 held to include power to amend the part 3 containing the fundamental rights. So Supreme Court says that under article 368 the parliament can amend any part of the fundamental rights also. Then comes year 1965, case is Sajjan Singh versus State of Rajasthan. In this case, Supreme Court says that the parliamentary supremacy and its power to amend any part of the constitution upheld again. Importantly, the Mudholkar and Hidayatullah justices were dissenting judge who haven't given their opinion in sync with the majority judgment. Then comes 1967, Golaknath versus State of Punjab. In this case, in a complete reversal to its earlier instance that Supreme Court have taken with regard to the amending power of the parliament, Supreme Court says that the fundamental rights could not be amended by the parliament unless and until there is another constituent assembly that is formed. So it has completely stopped the amending power of the constitution. In 1971, the parliament came with an amendment to modify the judgment that was given in the Golaknath case. The 24th constitutional amendment says that Article 368 and Article 13 modified to allow parliament to unilaterally amend fundamental rights, overturning the Golaknath ruling. So in 1973, the validity of this 24th Constitutional Amendment Act came in front of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court in this Keswanand Bharati versus State of Kerala case, court rules all part of the constitution including fundamental rights can be amended keeping its basic structure intact. So this was the case through which we got our basic structure of the constitution. Now you tell me, in this particular judgment, when this particular judgment came in 1973, who was the Chief Justice of India? And then in 1975, 39th Constitutional Amendment Act came to actually modify the judgment that was given in the Keswanand Bharati judgment. The election of President, Vice President, Prime Minister and Speaker placed beyond the scope of judicial review in backdrop of the emergency. In year 1975, in Indira Gandhi versus Raj Narayan case, the Supreme Court applies this basic structure doctrine and says that the free and fair elections are important part of our basic structure, and this was the first time in which Supreme Court have applied the basic structure doctrine. In year 1976, 42nd Constitutional Amendment came. Again, the constitutional amendments protected against being called in question by any court. Parliament's constituent power to amend declared as limitless. Means through this amendment which came during the emergency period, Parliament actually tried to make their power to amend the constitution, any part of the constitution, limitless. That they have taken this amending power completely outside the purview of the Supreme Court. They tried to do that actually. But in 1980, in Minerva Mills versus Union of India case, again Supreme Court says that whatever the modification that were done through 42nd Constitutional Amendment 1976 were rejected by the court, and the court clarified that Parliament's power to amend the constitution is limited by the constitution itself. So till now this basic structure doctrine is in place and it has been applied in several cases. So what constitutes basic structure? As I have told that after Keswanand Bharati judgment, this basic structure doctrine is being applied here through various judgments. For example, in Minerva Mills case or in S.R. Bommai case, in S.R. Bommai case, Supreme Court says that this secularism and federalism is an important part of our basic structure. So through various case laws, the Supreme Court have time and again told that what constitute actually the basic structure. And in this, fundamental rights, the PSP, secularism, federalism, parliamentary democracy, supremacy of the constitution, judicial review, principle of equality, free and fair elections, etc. are part of our basic structure. They cannot be infringed, they cannot be violated. So what is the significance of the basic structure? First, it protects the democratic values as well as the fundamental rights of the citizens. Democratic values like equality, justice, whether it is social justice, economic justice or political justice, all that is preserved through this doctrine of the basic structure. If any person is feeling that some of democratic values are being violated in a democratic country like India, they can approach the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court will look into that whether that particular law, act or executive action is violating the constitution. If that is the case, they will strike that down. And also, this basic structure maintains the constitutional integrity. The actual provisions of the constitution, whatever the things that were in mind in the constitutional makers, that what they actually wanted in our constitution, that constitution is respecting everyone, constitution is equally applying to all, there is no discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste discrimination, etc. So all that is maintained properly. What is the gist, what is the main philosophy behind the constitution, that remains preserved through this doctrine of basic structure. Also, it preserves the constitutional morality. Here, constitutional morality means following the principles that the constitution wants, that is written in the constitution, that is inherent in the constitution. So this basic structure doctrine also helps in ensuring that constitutional morality is actually being followed properly. Also, it will prevent the authoritarianism also. As you have seen in past, there has been some attempts to increase the amending power of the parliament manifold, to make the amending power of the parliament limitless. If that would have been the case, do you think it would have been possible in a country like India to ensure that our rights are properly being protected? There is equality, there is proper social justice? Answer is no. So to ensure that there is no dictatorship or there is no authoritarianism, all the values of the constitution, all the provisions of the constitution are being followed properly, basic structure plays a huge role. Then it also ensures the stability and the consistency. Let's suppose there is frequent amendments that is going on in the constitution. It will create lot of mayhem. It will be very difficult for the administration to update according to those amendments. Also, whatever the litigations that are going on, there might be new litigation that may arise due to that amendments, or it would be very difficult to ensure that all the provisions are properly being followed if there are frequent amendments that are going on. Also, it will uphold the constitutional supremacy. In a country like India, the constitution is supreme, and it is the duty, who is the guarantor of our fundamental rights, or who is the guarantor that all the provisions of the constitution are properly being followed? It is the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court through this basic structure doctrine ensure that constitution remains supreme in India. But if we look into some of the criticisms of the basic structure, there is lack of clarity and definition. There is no as such definition of the basic structure, that what actually constitutes the basic structure. Also, what are the things that comes under the basic structure, that is also not clear. There is no explicit constitutional basis that talks about the basic structure. So some experts believe that it is against the constitution also, because it hasn't been explicitly mentioned in the constitution. And from here itself, there was a question that was asked in the UPSC prelims exam related to this basic structure itself, that we will be discussing also. Also, the subjective interpretation, that it is completely at the mercy of the judiciary to interpret any provision, whether it is in sync with the basic structure or not. And this is due to lack of clarity and definition of the basic structure. Also, the judicial activism and the overreach that some experts believe that have arisen due to this basic structure doctrine. That some experts believe that judiciary is going beyond their jurisdiction, going beyond what has been asked by the constitution for them to do, that they are overreaching, their powers are overarching as compared to what constitution wants. It is also against the violation of the separation of the powers. As you know, the three components, the legislature, executive and the judiciary, the to make a law is completely domain of the legislature. To make a law is complete domain of the legislature. But when judiciary is actually guiding that what should be the law, it is against the separation of the power. What are the changes that needs to be done, and how a particular act should look, how a particular law should look, if that is being guided by the judiciary. Some experts believe that it is against the separation of the power which has been envisaged by our constitution. Also, it hinders the constitutional evolution. As you know that since Article 368 was itself provided by the constitution, and that shows the organic nature of our constitution, that whatever the needs that are arising, to address, to fulfill those needs that are arising, the constitution is changing, constitution is amending. But when this basic structure doctrine have came, it somewhat halted this process of amendment in the constitution. So it does not help in evolution of the constitution as per the needs that are arising. This is believed by some of the experts. Next is undemocratic practice. Some experts believe that, as you know, that legislature is actually representing the will of the people. People who are in the legislature are actually elected by the citizens, and in India people are sovereign. So when judiciary is guiding that how a law should be, they are actually not representing the will of the people, because the judges are not elected by the people. So some experts believe this basic structure doctrine, which actually guides the making of the law or amending of the constitution, is undemocratic, as they are not representing the will of the people. Judges or the judiciary is not representing the will of the people. A prelims previous year question that was asked in year 2020 related to this particular topic is that, consider the following statement: the Constitution of India defines its basic structure in terms of federalism, secularism, fundamental rights and democracy. Then again, Constitution of India provides for judicial review. Here, please focus here on the word judicial review. It has been given in the commas. To safeguard the citizens' liberties and to preserve the ideals of the on which the constitution is based. So this first statement is obviously incorrect, since Constitution of India doesn't define basic structure. In fact, it doesn't talk about the basic structure at all. So this first statement was itself incorrect. Now there has been lot of confusion with regard to the second statement after this exam happened. However, the UPSC said that second statement is also incorrect and the correct answer is D, neither one, neither two. So this shows that whenever the UPSC is using word Constitution of India and they have kept this word judicial review in commas, they actually want to know that whether there is any provision in the constitution that explicitly talks about the judicial review, or there is this judicial review word mentioned in the constitution. Answer is no. And I think that is one of the reasons, that's why this particular statement was also considered incorrect by the UPSC, and the correct answer was D, neither one, neither two, in this particular question that was asked in year 2020. Now, you again see that this topic is very important for UPSC. You can see there has been multiple mains questions that has been asked from this particular topic, and latest was asked in year 2020. So you can try to solve some of these previous year questions that was asked in UPSC mains exam. Coming to a mains practice question that you can try from this particular topic is that, trace the evolution of the basic structure doctrine in India. How doctrine have been an effective tool in providing necessary safeguard against the constitutional erosion. Our next topic is cyber security challenges in India. The context of this topic is that a senior official in a leading public sector undertaking named NBCC or National Building Construction Corporation have been duped in a digital arrest case. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 3, challenges to internal security through communication networks and basics of cyber security. So let's first look into what has been given in the newspaper, that there is a woman employee of the NBCC has claimed that she received a call, who the person said that he was calling from Terminal 2 of Mumbai airport, and caller claimed that a parcel containing 16 fake passports, 15 ATM cards and various other illegal materials have been found on her name. And he further claimed that Mumbai police has issued arrest warrant against her, and the person who have called this woman said that she has been digitally arrested, and until and unless she will transfer this 50 lakh, she is going to be prosecuted under the Money Laundering Act. So what is this digital arrest all about? So here scammers impersonating as a government official threaten to arrest the victim over video call, extorting money for bail and settlement. There has been several cases. For example, there is a video call that will come. On the video call, through use of AI, there will be an officer that will be talking to you, and he will tell brief details about you, that your name is this, your Aadhaar card is this, and there has been a parcel that has been found on your name, and this parcel contains various illegal items like some narcotics, drugs, etc. Now that person who have called you through video call or audio call will further say that you are going to be arrested soon. So you are digitally arrested, and if you want that you do not get prosecuted or you do not get arrested by the police, please transfer this amount to this particular account. Now what these scammers are doing, they first is using the profile or name of any government official. Again, they have used your data also. So this is one new method through which cyber attacks are happening, digital scams are happening. And you never fall for such impersonation scams if you are getting any junk call. So please try to avoid to attend that particular call. Now this topic of cyber security is so much important that in past 12-13 years, at least 8 times questions has been asked from this particular topic. And you can see in some year there has been a case that consistently the questions are coming from this particular topic. That shows the importance of this topic, that why you should cover this topic very holistically. Another question that students ask me that, sir, how we should make our notes for all the topics. So first thing that I say is that whatever the topics that are given in your syllabus, you should have content on each topic that is given in the syllabus, because UPSC mainly in the mains exam is going to ask only on the words that are given in the syllabus. So you should have proper content on each topic that is given in the syllabus. Second, whether the content that you have made, the notes that you have made are sufficient to solve all the previous year questions that has been asked, at least last 10 years previous year papers. If answer is yes, means your notes are good. Second, do you have integrated those notes properly with the current affairs? Do in your notes all the recent developments, current happenings that has been in news in past 1 year, is that present in your notes or not? If that is yes, means your notes are comprehensive and holistic for that particular topic. So if you want to make notes for this particular topic, that is cyber security, try to look into all the aspects that has been asked previously, and you ensure that all those aspects are present in your notes, at least in last 10 years what are the questions that has been asked. Second, whatever the recent development is there with regard to this particular topic, that is cyber security, if government is taking some new measures, if government is bringing some new law, try to integrate that with your notes, and that will be a comprehensive and holistic coverage of that particular topic. And you try to ensure that you follow for all the topics that are given in the syllabus. Now coming to our discussion to this particular topic, that as per I4C, that is Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center. Now you tell me in the comment box that this I4C comes under which particular ministry. It says that almost 7,061 crore lost in just first 4 months of 2024, that is till April 2024. And there has been more than 7,40,000 complaints regarding cyber attacks. Also, Delhi police have said that in year 22-23 there has been almost 212% increase in the cyber security related incidents, especially the banking related frauds, UPI related frauds have been seen a uptick. Also, there has been a firm named CyberArk which have done a survey on the major government as well as private establishment, it says that 91% of Indian organization that they have surveyed have experienced some or other form of ransomware attack in the past few years. If you look into this particular map, you can see Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra are some of those states which have been majorly affected by the cyber crimes or cyber related attacks. So what are different types of cyber crimes? One is phishing, which involves obtaining the personal information of the user by sending spam emails or by means of phishing websites which resemble the same as the authorized website. So they make a mirror website that actually looks like that particular website which you was intending to go for. They change, they tweak the domain name or the extension, etc. Then identity theft. This involves getting the information about credit card or the debit card or the bank details. Further, unwanted money can be easily deducted after the information is hacked. Here they call and they want to know your basic card detail, then CVV number as well as the OTP, etc. Then there are malware attacks, where a hostile software which is designed to damage the computer or systems, and this is mainly done to access the meaningful information or for doing some crime by using that system. Then ATM frauds happening, cyber stalking, which involve following the persons through online mazes. They can even send malware to damage the system to get the exact information. It involves harassment of the user, pornography, the act of presenting sexual activity containing video through pornographic websites, spoofing, where an email is received and appears to be from some authentic source, but it is not same, it is corrupted, piracy issues, etc. So if a person is constantly following another person on the social media websites, what they are doing, etc., that is one example of the cyber stalking. So these are some of the different type of cyber crimes, and this is one area which is evolving. New and new forms of crime are happening, new and new forms of crime are coming day by day. So what are the reasons for this rise in these cyber attacks or digital frauds or cyber related issues? The first is the technological advancements that has happened. With the coming of new technologies like artificial intelligence, then dark web, deep fakes, machine learning, etc., it has become much easier to use this technology to for committing these digital frauds or cyber crimes. And due to these technological advancement, not only personal attacks or individual kind of attacks are happening, but it is also impacting government establishment. For example, attack on Mumbai power grid, for example, attack on AIMS server, etc. And in this regard only, for example, in 2020, there has been an attack on SolarWinds and US software company, which also affected the NIC, because NIC is one of the client of the SolarWinds. So due to technological advancement as well as our over dependence on some of the foreign companies, and for less technological advancement that we have witnessed, this over dependence is further creating various issues related to cyber crimes as well as cyber attacks. It makes us much more prone for those attacks. Then for example, social reasons. I don't know how many of you have watched one web series named Jamtara, which have came on Netflix. So Jamtara is a district in the Jharkhand which has been infamous for various digital frauds that were actually happening from that particular district. And what we have seen, that the poverty was very high in that particular district. The educational level were very low. The health indicators were very low, very poor. Also, what happened, when this poverty is there, people try to resort some easy money. They want to look for some easy money, that how easily can they get money. So that was one of the reasons that they were attracted towards this digital frauds. Second, when few people who have gone for this digital frauds, committing these crimes, after they have earned a substantial chunk of money, they have built houses, they have bought several vehicles, various cars, etc. That actually created a peer pressure, or that have created a peer motivation for other youths also to resort to these digital crimes. Also, due to increasing population, as well as it is leading to low education, low employment, poverty, and peer group pressure is further creating this cyber crime. So this is a vicious cycle, that population is increasing, poverty as well is increasing, educational as well as health indicators are not improving, and this is further perishing people into the poverty, and then this peer group motivation is helping, and that is leading to more of the cyber crime related incidents as well as digital frauds. Then, for example, economic reasons, again, the poverty as well as high income inequality that has been highlighted by Oxfam report, World Inequality Report 2022, which says that top 1% of the population have at least 22 to 23% of the wealth that is there in India. This further creates this issue of the cyber crimes. Also, some of the political reasons. For example, there are some state as well as non-state actors which do not want India to be happy and secure. They want to infringe on our sovereignty and integrity. So they also fund, they also motivate some of these cyber attacks. And in past many instances, there has been it has been seen that the server through which this attack happened was located in some of our neighboring countries, through which have hostile relation with us. We do not have a proper relation with them, especially what we have seen during Galwan clash that happened between India and China. During that time also, what we have seen that there has been several cyber attacks that has been witnessed by India. Also, the transnational nature of the offenses, that the person who have actually committed this offense is sitting outside India. Also, then it becomes very difficult to arrest that person or to prosecute that person. And next is the legal reasons, that there is no comprehensive law to tackle this issue properly, and that also impacts, that also infringes to ensure that these issues can be tackled well. If you talk about various impacts, it leads to a lot of economic losses. For example, Red Eco revealed that a China-linked APT group targeted 10 entities in India's power sector with malware. So here you can see that there are Delhi load dispatch center, then there is substation here, Mumbai Port Trust, Western region is there. So basically, most of these entities that is actually looking after ensuring that the power demands are met, they are attacked simultaneously. And when they were attacked, they couldn't supply the energy or the power properly. That has actually led to closure of some of the industrial establishment. Also, to make them come out of that attack, the further funds were required. So it led to a lot of economic losses. Also, these cyber attacks are leading to loss of dignity or the privacy. For example, attack on the AIM server that has happened, that may lead to loss of private information of that particular person. The data related to the health, data related to the biometric information of that particular person may come out in the public domain, that might infringe the privacy of one particular citizen, which is against the Article 21 of the Constitution also. It also undermines the democracy. For example, what we have seen in the last US elections or during Russia-Ukraine war, several deepfake videos of the Trump as well as the president of the Ukraine have came out on the social media. That actually molds the public opinion, that actually reshapes the public opinion what was actually there. So if there is an election that is going on, and if there is a deep fake video that is coming related to the person who are contesting those elections, it might impact the voter behavior as well as the actual impact of that election. So in a way, these attacks also can undermine the democracy. Then the law and order issues that it can create. For example, if there is a fake news or a deep fake video is being circulated that is disrupting the religious harmony, that may create some communal tension, law and order issues. Also the cyber espionage. Here there are various government as well as private funded institutes as well as individuals who are running this cyber espionage to actually disturb the harmony, sovereignty, integrity of India. So when these attacks are happening, this might lead to a situation that we might lose some important information which is very vital for security of our nation. Also, it undermines the sovereignty and integrity of our nation as well as the overall security establishment is getting impacted. For example, there has been several security concerns, or there has been attacks on Kudankulam nuclear power plant. the administrative areas of this nuclear power plant. You please tell me in the comment box that this nuclear power plant is located in which particular state. If we talk about current provisions on the cyber security, we have IT Act 2000, IT Amendment Act 2000, which provides for overall legislative framework for addressing the issues related to cyber security. Then we have National Cyber Security Policy 2013, which mainly provides to build a secure and safe resilience ecosystem for businesses as well as the government. They want to ensure that there is a safe cyber space is being provided. Then there is a computer emergency response team which analyze and disseminate information about various cyber security incidents, various cyber attacks that has happened. Then there is Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center, which looks for overall coordination between various law enforcement agencies. Also, all the datas have to mandatorily reported. If there is a cyber security incident happened, that needs to be mandatorily reported to this Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center. Then there is National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center, which mainly looks for protecting all the critical infrastructures which are very vital for security as well of India as well as sovereignty of India. For example, power, telecom, etc. related infrastructure. For example, UIDAI, the power grid, etc. can be called as the critical infrastructure whose protection is given to NCIIPC. So what should be the way forward? First, India should consider joining Budapest Convention on the cybercrime. This will actually help us in addressing the transnational nature of the offenses. Here, India haven't joined the Budapest Convention as of now. So when India will join this convention, we will be able to share our information. Also, we will be able to get information about the major attacks that are happening and how we can prevent them. Also, there can be a budgetary allocation from budget itself to actually make our infrastructure more robust and to address the issues of the cyber security more comprehensively. Also, there can be stricter enforcement of the regulations that are in place, whether it is IT Act or any other act. Also, we can have a more comprehensive law which can actually address the evolving nature of cyber attacks that are happening. Also, we need to focus on basic cyber security habits. For example, lock it, take it, that is, lock your computer before leaving that. Verify any requests that are coming to you on any social media websites. Update everything, whatever the software you are using, whatever the program you are using, please update that regularly. And look before you click. Whatever the link that you are clicking on any website or any place on the internet, have a clear idea that what that link is all about, only then click that. Password hygiene. Ensure that you are using a proper strong password. Change that regularly. Also, keep a regular backup of all your data that you have. Now, these are the basic things that is generally told to everyone. Still, people do not ensure this. And in this regard only, I have heard few lines somewhere that कौन कहाँ सीखा है सिर्फ बातों से, सबको सीखने के लिए एक हादसा जरूरी है. So don't wait for any tragedy to happen and then you will learn that. Rather, try to ensure that you learn and follow these basic cyber security habits even before you face any such incident. Also, this is not only limited to focusing on following the cyber security habits. Rather, you should follow these lines in your preparation also. That don't wait for any failure to happen. Don't wait for any tragedy like failure in this exam to happen. Rather, learn from your mistakes. There is no issue that if you are making any mistake, you are not able to solve any question, but learn from those mistakes. You are not able to follow your timetable. Learn from that mistake and ensure from the next day that you will not repeat that mistake. I am very sure that you will see success very soon. A prelims previous year question that was asked in year 2017. In India, it is legally mandatory for which of the following to report on cyber security incident, and this was asked in 2017. Use your basic logic and you can come to the answer of this particular question. Please comment the answer of this question in the comment box. Coming to our simplified section, the first topic here is that India joins US-led Mineral Security Network. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 2, groupings and agreements involving India and or affecting India's interest. And this have appeared in the Indian Express page number 17. So what is the story so far that India is now formally a part of Mineral Security Finance Network, which is a US-led initiative aiming to strengthen cooperation among members to secure the supply chains for the critical minerals. Now you tell me in examples of some critical minerals as well as some rare earth minerals. Here this pact is entered by 14 countries and the European Union. The Mineral Security Finance Network, that is MSFN, is a new initiative that stems from the Mineral Supply Partnership, which was a framework actually established by US in 2022, and India was also inducted to this MSP in June 2023. Don't get confused with this MSP to the MSP that you actually read in the agriculture. So how this network is going to play the significant role in India's journey towards accessing the critical minerals? That it will it is coming at a time when there is an overwhelming dependence on countries such as China for critical resources, especially with respect to rare earth minerals. And these rare earth minerals are very important for semiconductor industry, for chip making, etc. So when we are overly dependent on China, after joining this network, we can access better resources at better price. The supply can be much more robust at a much better and competitive price as compared to what we are getting. Under this new partnership, signatory nations acknowledge that the scope and scale of meeting the rapidly increasing global demand for critical minerals to achieve the proposed clean energy transition was beyond the purview of any single institution, and that public sector as well as private sector in member countries would need to work together to deploy capital into new and existing market in the sector. So this is not only, this partnership is not only between the countries, but there are several financing institutions that is also taking part to finance these projects, the supply of these critical minerals. Also, new partnership bring together, as I have said, the development finance institutions and export credit agencies, so that the capital can be also provided as well as supply chain can be made much more smooth as well as robust. And this MSP grouping, industry insiders said, that is focused on supply chains of minerals such as cobalt, nickel, lithium and also 17 rare earth minerals. So India can get better supply as well as better accessibility, affordability of these minerals by joining this network. Coming to our second topic, that is clause 6 of Assam Accords. This topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 2, government policies and interventions, and this has appeared in newspaper page number 15 of Indian Express. So there has been a meeting with representatives of all Assam Students Union on Wednesday with Chief Minister Hemant Biswa Sarma, and it has set the ball rolling for the implementation of 52 recommendations of Justice Biplav Sarma Committee, which was regarding the clause 6 of Assam Accord as announced by Assam government in this regard. So what happened? After the 1971 war, there has been lot of influx of Bangladeshi people in several states of India. And in this regard only, there has been lot of agitation and protests that have started in Assam, that several migrants have entered into Assam who are taking the jobs of these persons, who are taking the education centers of these peoples, etc. So these local population is getting affected by influx of these migrants, and there has been lot of protests that continue. To address that, there has been a historic Assam Accord, which was a memorandum of settlement between the Rajiv Gandhi led union government and the leadership of Assam government, and primarily the All Assam Students Union, which was signed in year 1985. An accord ended the 6 years long agitation in Assam against the entry of Bangladeshi migrants into the state. The clause 6 of this Assam Accord states that constitutional, legislative and administrative safeguards as may be appropriate shall be provided to protect, preserve and promote the cultural, social, linguistic identity and heritage of the Assamese people. So to actually look how this clause 6 can be implemented, Union Ministry constituted a 14-member committee chaired by retired Assam High Court Justice Biplab Kumar Sharma, and this committee comprised various judges, retired bureaucrats as well as some AASU leaders, journalists, to suggest ways to implement this clause, that is clause 6 of Assam Accord. So committee have given 52 recommendations. Notably, the 15 key recommendations of the committee will not implemented for the time being. The Chief Minister says that they will require the constitutional amendment to be implemented, and we will take up these matters with the center at the right forum, he posted on X on the Wednesday. So as of now, all the recommendation will not be implemented as it requires a constitutional amendment. And under the clause 6, one of the main question was that who constitute that Assamese people? What is the definition of the Assamese people? Who are the people who are eligible to be counted under the Assamese people? Under this, what the committee have recommended that for the implementation of clause 6, it should include indigenous tribals, other indigenous communities of the Assam, Indian citizens residing in the territory of Assam and on or before January 1, 1951, and their descendants and indigenous Assamese people. So they have given wide number of definition or the people who will be included under this Assamese people, and it will be notable to see that how actually the full implementation of this clause 6 will happen. Also, among the various recommendations that are still in developmental stage that hadn't been followed is one is the inner line permit that has been demanded. So this inner line permit, which is in place in states like Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur and Mizoram, as well as numerous reservations for Assamese people were also demanded by the indigenous people of the Assam. So this inner line permit is actually a document that is required to travel to these areas or to stay in these areas where this inner line permit is actually implemented. So what these people want, that this inner line permit should be also implemented in the Assam, which hasn't been accepted as of now. And Home Ministry has still not accepted all the report of the Justice Biplab Committee, and until it accepts the report, the recommendation do not have any legal or constitutional value. The fundamental points are those on the political representation. So it will be good to see that how actually all the recommendation will be implemented and in what time it will be implemented. Our next topic is record food grain production. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 3, cropping patterns and food security, and this has appeared in the Hindu newspaper page number 6. So Union Agriculture Ministry have estimated that a record production of food grain of this financial year, but the production of pulses, oil seeds and sugar is likely to be lower than fiscal year, shows the fourth and final estimates of production of major agricultural crops of 23-24. And it is going to be almost 3,322 lakh ton, that is higher than 26.11 lakh ton than the last financial year's 3,296 lakh ton. And there has been increase in the production of rice, wheat and millet, resulted in overall increase in the food grain production, and this can be mainly due to some favorable climatic conditions as well as increased government measures with regard to the increasing food production, like for example Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana or whatever the new schemes that are running. So that has actually helped in increasing the overall food grain production. Also, the oilseed output is likely to drop to 396 lakh ton from 413 lakh ton in 22-23. Rapeseed and mustard production is likely to increase marginally. These estimates are based on the information received from state and union territories. Ministry added, government do not do any survey on their own, rather they are dependent on the data that has been provided by the states and union territories. Also, center said during 23-24 there are drought-like conditions in southern states and Maharashtra and prolonged dry spell during August. And this moisture stress from the drought also affected the Rabi season crops. This mainly affected production of pulses, coarse cereals, soya bean and cotton, Agriculture Ministry said. And due to this reduction in the some of these major crops, we might need to import these crops. Also notably, you should be aware of this fact that India is highest producer, highest importer, as well as highest consumer of the pulses. Next topic is SEO meet in Pakistan. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of GS paper 2, India and its neighborhood, effect of policies and politics of countries on India's interest, and this has appeared in the Hindu page number 4. So next SEO meet is going to happen in Pakistan. Generally, it is attended by the heads of the government. But when last time the SEO meet happened in Goa, Pakistan sent its foreign minister to attend that SEO meet. So India is also thinking that there are some sources that confirm that India is also thinking to send our foreign minister to represent India in this SEO meet, which is going to happen in the Pakistan. So neither India nor Pakistan, as you note, send its prime minister to the heads of government event, deputing a minister or the vice president instead. And it has been already done by Pakistan when we have meeting in the Goa. This would be a good opportunity for India to fulfill its plurilateral commitment while leaving the bilateral issues. What some of the experts have actually said that this would be a good opportunity for India to fulfill its plurilateral commitment while leaving the bilateral issues. So India have a commitment to attend the meetings of the SEO as India is part of SEO as well as Pakistan is also part of SEO. But we have issue with the Pakistan. So we can't neglect the complete meeting of the SEO because we have issue with the Pakistan. So some of the experts have believed that it would be a good step that if India takes part in this SEO meet, which is going to happen in Pakistan. And despite the SEO meet that happened in Goa, Mr. Bhutto and Mr. Jaishankar, both the foreign ministers of India and Pakistan, exchanged the greeting, but they did not hold any bilateral meeting. And the visit ended with both holding acrimonious press conferences criticizing each other. So we have differences, and that's why we didn't have any bilateral meeting. We only keep on criticizing each other. And it would be good to see that how India-Pakistan relation shapes in upcoming years. So let's also look into brief details about SCO or Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is an intergovernmental political, economic and security alliance founded in 2001 by Kazakhstan, China, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, who are basically Central Asian countries. The first summit of this SCO held in Shanghai, China in year 2001. After that, the aim of this SCO is to promote cooperation and mutual support in areas such as trade, investment, energy, transportation as well as security. The core value of SCO is Shanghai spirit, which mainly aims to ensure that mutual trust, mutual benefit, equality, consultation, respect for cultural diversity and the pursuit of common development among the SCO members are being promoted. The official working language of the SCO Secretariat is Russian and Chinese. So our next topic is Lokayukt and Muda scheme. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 2 statutory bodies, and this has appeared in the Hindu page number 1. So context of this topic is that a special court in Bengaluru on Wednesday directed the Lokayukt police in Mysuru to register a criminal case against Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and others on alleged illegalities in allotment of 14 sites worth 56 crore to his wife by Mysuru Urban Development Authority. So let's try to look into some basics about Lokayukt, which has been provided under Lokpal and Lokayukt Act 2013. But there has been only one section that actually talks about Lokayukt. So there are no clear-cut direction that what should be the structure of the Lokayukt, and that is why it differs from one state to another states. Some states have also created post of Up Lokayukt, whereas in some states there are only Lokayukts, and they mainly acts as Indian parliamentary ombudsman, means they are the watchdog representative to actually look into the grievances of the citizens. They are mainly appointed by the governor, and at that point of time the governor can consult the Chief Justice of the High Court in that particular state and also the leader of opposition in the assembly. The tenure of the Lokayukts are 5 years or 65 years, whichever is earlier. There is no provision of reappointment for Lokayuks. Our next topic is Sri Lanka and IMF. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 2, effect of policies and politics of countries on India's interest, important international institutions. This particular topic has appeared in The Hindu, page number 14. The context of this topic is that Sri Lanka will swiftly begin talks with IMF to take its ongoing program forward and expedite negotiation with its external creditors for debt relief. And IMF have also said that Sri Lanka is on knife-edge recovery and it is at very critical juncture. As you would be knowing, Sri Lanka have seen an economic crisis, particularly after the COVID-19, when tourism have decreased in Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka's revenue was mainly dependent on the tourism past few years back. Also, the government of the Sri Lanka have taken various other measures which have further aggravated their economic crisis. For example, they have shifted to organic farming, which have reduced the food grain production to a very high extent, and that has led to hyperinflation, a very high inflation in the economy of the Sri Lanka, and it has further aggravated various economic issues. And in that regard only, the Sri Lanka went to the door of IMF to look for some of the measures that can actually help in addressing the issues of the IMF. So IMF is one such institution that came into being after the Bretton Woods conference, and mainly it look after that whether economic development is happening or not properly in all the parts of the world. Also, if there is a sudden crisis, economic crisis that is arising, IMF help those countries which are in that particular crisis. Also, in the initial stage, it was mainly formed to look into various issues of the currency devaluation which every country was doing to increase their export or to boost their exports. However, at the later part, IMF has been financing these institutions. Both short-term as well as long-term financing is being done by the IMF. Now you see, there has been various questions that has been asked from this topic of IMF, and this is one of the favorite topic of the UPSC. For example, in 2022, rapid financing instrument, rapid credit facilities are related to provisions of lending of the which one of the following? You can tell the answer of this question in the comment box. Then gold tranche or reserve tranche refers to, this is again a credit system granted by IMF to its members. So based on the position of that particular country in the global economy, there is a quota that is being given to that particular country, that is also known as the reserve tranche or the gold tranche. So mainly this is a credit system that is granted by IMF. Also, the Global Financial Stability Report is prepared by, this was asked in 2016. You please comment your answers in the comment box. And you also tell me in the comment box that what are the other reports that are presented, that are published by the International Monetary Fund. Coming to our next topic, that is ADB raises inflation view. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 3, planning mobilization of resources, and this has appeared in The Hindu, page number 12. So the ADB says that, citing elevated food prices on Wednesday, the ADB have raised its projection for India's average retail inflation in 24-25 marginally to 4.7% from 4.6% estimated earlier, even as it have retained the GDP growth hopes for country at 7% this year and 7.2% in 25-26. That, and why they have marginally increased? Because there are some agencies that expect that Reserve Bank of India to start slashing interest rate as early as October. ADB is not as sanguine. The monetary policy is expected to become less restrictive, but not as soon as expected, as it asserted. So ADB thinks that if the Reserve Bank of India will start slashing repo rate, it will increase the liquidity in market. That might lead to a marginal increase in the inflation in the economy. If we talk about the ADB, this Asian Development Bank, the motto of this is fighting poverty in Asia and Pacific. This has formed on 19 December 1966, 52 years ago. It is a type of multilateral development bank, and it have a legal status of treaty. The purpose of this was to look after social and economic development. The ADB funds various infrastructure projects, various programs related to the social sector in various parts of the world. Headquarters of ADB is located in Manila, Philippines. This was all from today's Analyst. I hope you liked the session. Thank you very much. All the very best. Keep studying.